I don't know if it's illegal or not.
Don't second guess yourself.
This says private right here on the entrance. There is definitely a heaviness around here.
But honestly, the first thing that hit me, I feel a heaviness.
Alright, I am joined with Kelly here. Okay, so this house right here is the Sailor and Soldiers Children's Home, and it's closed now, so it's abandoned. The Soldiers and Sailors Children's School was a boarding school for orphans from 1865 to 1979. It was originally known as Civil War Orphans' Homes. Let's get into the supernatural side of things. A gift that I'm really strong in is prophecy and discerning of the spirits, which basically means that I can often tell or feel and know things about people before they tell me. Some would probably consider that psychic. I call it hearing from God. Alright, I am joined with Kelly here.
Hello.
And I know we did this, but we're back at the Soldiers and Sailors orphanage that is now abandoned because Kelly has some different gifts than I do. Hi, we're both in it now. Kelly here has some different gifts than I do, so she has more like a gift of like knowing. Would you say you could probably introduce yourself if you want? I know I want to speak for you.
It's okay.
I don't know how to do this, guys. I'm not used to working with people.
Keep going, you're good.
We're awkward.
Don't second guess yourself.
Yeah, that's been the theme of today. That's to you guys too. So I wanted to come back because she wanted to come here and I didn't know, and so we was like, well, let's go back together, and we both like experience the supernatural worlds in different ways, and she has more of a gift of knowing and I have more of a gift of feeling. We both kind of have a different gift of discernment, but it's in very different ways. What do you have to add?
I think that's good.
So
I'm not a big talker.
Yeah, she's not. This is why I talk for her. That's not true. Which is funny because I was the one that never talked when we met.
I know.
We've known each other for a lot of years. But we come back and she's going to tell you what she is getting here. It's rumored that ghosts of children who used to reside here now haunt the school. However, I'm sure that rumor is fueled by the fact that there used to be a cemetery plot there on the site. Many people say that they have an intense feeling of depression there. Even if they've been there before, they feel it every time they go. As I see and feel spirits, I can tell if it's demons, angels, spirit of manipulation, spirit of deception, spirit of protection, protecting angels, etc., etc. As well as I feel a lot of different things like heaviness and sadness and things like that, which some would maybe call that a medium or an empath. Again, I call it hearing from God. I think people go in there sometimes. I don't know if it's illegal or not. I'm not gonna do anything illegal. Anyways, people say like when they drive by, even you can feel like just like really heavy depression. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel anything like that. I do feel nauseous. Like there is definitely a heaviness around here for sure. I'm not feeling depression though. Just heavy, just like really heavy, like almost to the point. It triggered my anxiety too. Like the anxiety is like almost to the point where I'm like, you know how like when you're really, really, really scared and you start shaking, like it's almost to that point. But like, I don't feel depression really. There's a heaviness and my anxiety went up. But like,
I feel it. I feel a heaviness.
Whoa! Okay. Oh, sorry. And she doesn't usually feel things, guys.
I sometimes do, but not always. But I do feel a heaviness. There's something like with those basement windows. I don't know if it's just
interesting.
The basement windows just like immediately grabbed me and were just like this heaviness.
Interesting. I didn't go too deep into it, so I was just feeling what was outside mostly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, that they're like yawning, sort of.
So demonic.
Something like that.
Yeah, because we talked about this, but I felt like there was a lot of mistreatment here, and likely that's where it took place.
Yeah,
So
that's what I was thinking. And I mean, back in that time period too.
yeah, and that's why I was like, this is probably just a given the time period. But I went there twice, once with Kelly and once by myself. The first time I went there was by myself, and both times I went, I felt super sad because it felt like there was a lot of mistreatment of children. I didn't really feel depression, but I felt just so sad. I then went home and researched, and the history was a little bit dark. Apparently, Mrs. Virginia C. OHR, a widow of a Civil War veteran, served as the home's first superintendent. Her tenure was controversial and included accusations of, you guessed it, mistreatment of the children. Sometimes I don't always like confirmation. That one was pretty sad. I cried. Then, in the late 1940s, the school's foster care increased, and so did the number of delinquent children with physiological and behavioral issues, unfortunately. It's abandoned. Like you can tell, it's all grown over the windows. But, I don't know why it looks like it's in black and white right now. But there's like lots of rumors of like ghosts and things because there used to be a graveyard here apparently of the children that died while they were here. But there's definitely a lot of sadness, and what I feel from here is like it's really heavy, like even when I was over there, because I think the other section, they used to live in those homes. I think that they are occupied by things like groundskeepers now, I believe is what I looked up. So like groundskeepers live nearby. I think there's some like vicious dogs in here that are kept over here too. But this building, a lot of buildings around here have been demolished that were attached to this, but this one's still standing. It's abandoned. It's illegal to go poke around, so I'm not gonna go in there. But what I feel from here is that there was a lot of mistreatment, and like that's the heaviness that I feel. I don't really know what that looks like, what that means. I mean, 1865 boarding school probably was, so that's probably not that far-fetched.
So what I first am thinking, I'm like looking at I like architecture too. So looking at the architecture and what's missing. Obviously there's parts of the building that have been taken off, like an overhang or a staircase or something right there.
Yes.
But honestly, the first thing that hit me was those basement windows.
The staircase, right?
I don't know if it's a staircase.
Well, it looks like a staircase.
There was some kind of housing for the staircase or something, overhang.
Right. Whoops! I put no, can't see through my finger. Right there.
I wonder if there was a deck. I'm wondering too what this metal stuff was. That's probably what was torn off.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too.
From over there. So that's fascinating.
Sorry guys, I don't know how to film this. I'll get better.
That's really fascinating. Because it was 79 when it closed. So do the math. And I think what I've heard is it's been sealed up since then. They haven't really done anything with it.
Interesting.
So
that's really interesting because I'm feeling super nauseous again, and I was totally fine until we got here.
See, and I don't get that at all.
Like I feel like I'm gonna throw up.
I just feel like there's something, and like the heaviness. So
yeah, there's definitely a lot. This whole area I feel like is really heavy.
Well, and I think that's why I've always wanted to come here, because I just kind of knew that from what I've read about it, because I've read a lot about it online, and I just knew most old buildings there is. It's a general rule, because you can't make a blanket statement on that, but most, especially if there were a lot of people there, just because people are people, and so when there's a lot of people that have been, there's always going to be something that's...
Well, and this being an orphanage, of course there's sadness, and soldiers and sailors, so their family was gone.
I have actually, and because in some of the comments on the page that I follow, there have been people who did grow up in here who've commented, and they do have happy memories. I'm not saying everybody would, but there have been, so it's not all sad, because there's usually always some good mixed up with bad.
Yeah, of course. For sure. I just feel like I'm gonna throw up and cry. Like,
see, I don't feel. I just kind of know that, like, stuff and I don't. Yeah.
Are you guys getting anything there? I don't. Sometimes I can get it through the screen. Sometimes I can't. So. It usually doesn't take me long to turn on and off. Now, being able to see and feel in the spirit realm, unless it's super intense, then there's not really an off button. But it's taken me many years to get to this point, practicing and developing these gifts to be able to do that. And I've made plenty of mistakes getting here. To prepare for going to places, normally what I do is I start by praying for protection, wisdom, and guidance, and sometimes even angels to come with me. I regularly pray for protection and shielding for even just my normal living. All this helps prepare, as well as I journal, sit in stillness, quiet listening for God to speak to me, sometimes a few minutes, sometimes hours, it just kind of depends, and ask for the location, what's spiritually going on. I just ask. I just say a quick prayer in my head, God to show me what's happening. I used to have to sit and close my eyes and pray a while, sometimes even out loud, but I can typically get into that place really fast now. A bit of a side note, I almost always rock back and forth when I'm really focused on my prayer. I don't even know I'm doing it most of the time. That's potentially something that helps me get into that place. I'm not entirely sure, but of seeing and hearing more clearly anyways, but I'm not 100% sure. I just think that it does. But then there was a while I saw everything all of the time, but now I'm in the place that I can usually get in and out just by taking like 5 seconds for a quick prayer in my head. That comes from years of growing in my gifts, as well as regularly praying and practicing. So these are things I do on a regular basis. I often even practice when watching videos. Sometimes it's really hard to see through the screen, or see and feel through the screen though. It's a lot easier in person. So that one sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but it's always a good thing to practice. It helps to practice. It makes it easier to get in and out of that place practicing. After I pray to see, I look around the environment. Sometimes I'll see stuff there in my mind, sometimes I'll feel things, sometimes I'll get pictures. It's usually a combination of all these things though. Often, if it's really dark spirits, I'll get dizzy or nauseous. When that happens, I pray against any spirits coming to me, and for protection again, and if it persists, I'll ask an angel to come. Typically just a short prayer in my head. A lot of times what happens is dizzy or nauseous feeling doesn't go away until I move to a different spot, but the prayer or bringing an angel in does make it so that I feel better, and it's usually pretty tolerable. If I'm somewhere that's not safe for me to be, I can usually feel that too. So if it's accompanied by the unsafe feeling, I don't go there, or I leave really fast. But if it feels safe, I just go do what I came there to do. And
from 1872 to 1889, the home started building things like cafeteria, laundry facilities, hospital, and a chapel, and more buildings like that. But then studies began to show that there were many benefits for these children to be in home-like environments. So what happened was, in 1904, they started building cottages. They're really nice. I think they're really nice cottages anyways, because some of them still stand. By 1937, all of the children lived in cottages, and there were 25 cottages. Boys in one row, girls in another. The children's village was described as an architectural Alice in Wonderland designed for maximum comfort, with their doors opening onto 4 different playgrounds.
I'm gonna make this quick because I'm not sure if it's even legal to film her, but I got closer and got out, and So this place was the children's home, originally established in 1865 for the Civil War. Children who were orphans, they would do boarding school here, and then it later opened up to a bunch of the other war sections as well. Words aren't always my thing. I'll take you through the fence a little bit and zoom in. Ooh, I don't even like being right here. Ooh, makes me nauseous. This is definitely a dark place. I fully expected not to feel anything when I got here, because I'm like, people hype things up, but it's like making me sick. So I don't think I'm supposed to be here, so I'm gonna get out of here. But hopefully this was an interesting little tour, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. Let's move on.
Oh, you know what?
So we can
You're
just
right.
actually, yeah, there's no fence over here, guys.
So
I'm a dodo.
we just didn't walk
My
over
phone makes a pretty
But you're
reflection.
not actually supposed to.
Well, we're not gonna like go do anything. We're just not on the sidewalk, that's all.
You probably should. I don't know.
I don't know.
The porch was also torn off, so that's probably some of this porch that's been torn off. Oh, and there's
Yeah,
some
maybe.
over that window too that's been torn off.
The window?
Yeah.
The one at the top?
On the left.
Oh. The one on the left?
Those windows are recently yawning.
What? The basement windows?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a prison. Oh. The doorway's really pretty. But man, the basement, yeah, it feels like a prison.
I don't know if it's because of those bars, because I wonder how much that influences. Because, like,
Yeah, I don't know.
if they were boarded over or something, there wouldn't, well, it would be covered. There wouldn't be that connection.
I don't know, the basement feels really demonic to me. I wasn't really feeling it so much on the other side, but I definitely feel it over here. I feel stuck.
Look at this. This brick is different than that brick. This is newer, and it's crumbling. That one is an old original one. Wait, do you see the difference?
Oh, yeah, now that I took my sunglasses off. New. Old.
So it's interesting because the older one is still holding together. The newer one is crumbling, and those don't look like recycled bricks though. So what I was talking about, the mortar wouldn't really apply unless they are recycled bricks that they just look like that. You know what I mean?
I have no idea. I don't know anything about architecture.
I
It's,
wonder what happened to make it do that, because that, unless there's something underground.
Anybody
because
know?
Obviously they replaced an older one.
anybody know?
Unless,
Let me not fall.
I feel like this wall is new too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
This
just
oh, you know,
smell death along this entire
Okay.
sidewalk. Like, that's
I
all.
bet they added this. Let me look at this.
Yeah, so guys, I've been smelling death along this whole side. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it is, but it's like starting to make me nauseous. It's just over on this side. I don't know why. I've like smelled the old building too, but like mostly, I don't know. What does she see? What's she doing? What is she doing? She's thinking. The wheels are turning. She's running away again. Bye, Kelly. No idea what she's doing. She's out of sight now. Oh, wait, she's coming back. Wait. It's like narrating a sports game. Sports game. You can tell I watch sports. I don't know how to narrate.
This is more an architecture thing though.
It's okay.
So, I think these pillars are old, but I don't think the wall, I think the wall is newer, but the pillars would have just gone to there. This would have been open, because these are all along here are new. They're all newer pillars.
Originally, children who died while at the home were buried in a small plot on site, but were later moved to another cemetery, which is the same cemetery that we visited in episode 1. So click the top of the screen. Hopefully I remembered to put the card in there. It's on this side, I think. Could be on that side, though. It's in one of these corners.
I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
But it's in one of those corners. We didn't actually see the site while we were there, but we did see a couple of other things. In 1979, the home closed after 114 years of operation. Many of the buildings are now places of residence or businesses. So those cottages I was talking about are places of residence, and then there's surrounding buildings that are still businesses. But some of them remain abandoned. The admin building, however, along with a couple of others, have been demolished, unfortunately. It's illegal to go inside the school because it's abandoned. However, many have risked it, even though the house next door resides a groundskeeper that keeps watch with vicious dogs. Urban legend has it that the cinema is the most haunted area. The legend is that it will take over an hour to find your way out, and we saw that building. It's not that big. However, most people have never found the cinema, so not sure how true that urban legend is, and I don't really want to do anything illegal, so I definitely did not go inside. But I didn't really feel the depression. I did, however, feel really sad, but it was like more of a sadness of like I could feel how the children were treated. It did feel kind of like, at one point, it did feel, when I was with Kelly, not when I was by myself because I didn't go all the way around, but when I was with Kelly, it did feel like a prison in the basement on that one side of the building. And also, both times I went, when I was standing in the driveway, the back side of the school in the driveway, I felt so nauseous. The second time I think was actually worse than the first, but both times I felt really nauseous. The first time I went, some spirit tried to follow me home. I had to set some boundaries. I believe God has given us authority in the supernatural realm, the spiritual realm. So, I have cast out demons before, prayed in angels, broken attachments off of people, and all kinds of things, seen possession, like so many different things. But as I said, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've learned lessons the hard way. So typically I don't do any of that at all unless it's in my own home where I'm going to be, or where I'm going to be staying, or someone asks me for the help and we are in agreement that they are ready for the dark spirits to go and not come back. And if I'm staying somewhere, I typically don't clear anything out. I either bind it so that it can't get to me, or I send it to another place until I leave, and then it goes back to where it was. This is because I've done all those things before many times, and it does not go well for me or anybody else involved, or like around. If you pray attachments off people and they aren't ready to let go, they consciously or subconsciously call them back in, and when that happens, those attachments come back bigger and stronger the next time. And then places, that's another mistake I've made a lot. Cleaning house, so to speak, stirs things up, and it takes a lot of energy. So some of that dirt and dust gets stirred up and ends up on you without you realizing it, and it can really wreak havoc on your life. So it's a lot less energy draining and a lot safer just to set boundaries in place, other than my home. My home I want to be clear and clean on a regular basis. Because of this, I don't typically release angels in places either, unless it's over me for protection or guidance. I just typically stay away from that because I don't want to make people's lives harder. I want to help people. I don't want to make it harder for them, and I don't want to make my own life harder. So I typically pretty well leave things alone, unless either I'm staying there and I'm just moving aside until I leave, or somebody specifically asks me and I think that we both believe that they're ready to let go of this, whatever it is, because I don't want things to come back and be actually 10 times harder for them, and then I don't want my life to be harder than it has to be either, because man, just day-to-day living can be it can be a thing sometimes. So
that's kind of my supernatural journey and how I deal with things now. It changes, and sometimes I do take a little bit longer. Sometimes I do get into prayer a little bit more. It just kind of depends on what I'm looking to accomplish, like what I'm looking to find out, what sometimes I don't even pray to see, most of the time I don't even pray to see what's going on. But that's kind of how I get in and out of those places. If you have questions, please let me know.
Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more of this content, and merch link is in the description below. I love you so much. Dream big and take action. Bye! So we are currently in front of somebody's house, which is really close to the driveway. So like, the mailboxes are really cool, right? Okay, so first of all, I can't see very well. There we go. So over here, can you see it from here? Over here. Over there. Wait, there. That building right there. I don't know if I'm supposed to be sitting here or not. Yeah, I don't know how to film with people. This is my first time, so
I don't even know if you're filming right now.
oh, I am. I was like, if you talk, great. If not, then I have a whole bunch of nothing. Sorry. The Illinois Soldiers and Sailors Children's School. That's really hard to say for some reason.